For 8 minutes, I ask you to block out the noise, the headlines, the cynical takes, the endless chattering opinions about what a woman who has been through trauma should sound like, should act like, should be. I want to talk about one word that, when spoken in that now iconic interview, echoed around the world and found a home in the hearts of millions who understood its weight all too well: silenced. When Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, looked into Oprah Winfrey's eyes and confirmed she was not just silent but silenced, she wasn't offering a soundbite. She was issuing a testimony, a truth so raw and so human, it cut through the pomp and ceremony of centuries of tradition and reminded us all of a universal fear: the fear of having your very essence, your voice, stripped away. The Oprah interview was a seismic moment, a dam breaking after years of pressure. For so long, the world heard about Meghan, but not from her. The interview was more than a conversation, it was testimony. Meghan spoke not just for herself, but for anyone ever told to be quiet for the sake of an institution. This wasn't revenge, it was reclamation. Meghan and Harry drew a line. Their story belonged to them. They revealed loneliness, lack of support, and painful conversations about their child's skin colour. These weren't just headlines, they were lived experiences. By speaking out, Meghan challenged the institution's foundation, sparking global conversations about race and mental health. The backlash was swift, but critics missed the point. This was about honesty, not attention. The interview was a necessary rupture, a painful reset. Meghan chose to endure public scrutiny to begin healing on her own terms. That's courage, not weakness. Afterward, a different silence fell, not imposed but chosen. The story was told. There was nothing left to say to critics. Meghan refused to play the media's endless game. She said her piece, then turned towards purpose. The world waited for more drama, but Meghan chose a quieter, more intentional life. Sometimes the loudest statement is knowing when to stop talking. And yet, years later, a question lingers, often posed with a cynical slant. If she was truly silenced, why hasn't she been more outspoken since? To ask that question is to fundamentally misunderstand what it means to be silenced, and more importantly, what it means to be free. Let's be clear. The silencing Meghan described was not a simple gag order. It was not about being told not to do a press conference. It was a systemic, all-encompassing erasure. It was a process of being told your way is the wrong way. Your light is too bright. Your truth is too messy. Your experience as a woman, a biracial woman, an American woman, an accomplished woman, is an inconvenience to a system that demands conformity above all else. Those 2 times in 4 months she left the house, that is not the behavior of a reclusive celebrity. That is the portrait of profound isolation. That is the clinical reality of depression and despair. It is the direct result of being told, in a million subtle and unsubtle ways, that who you are is not welcome, that your voice causes problems. The most compassionate thing we can do is to listen to that part of her story and recognize it for what it was, a cry for help from inside a gilded cage. So, to those who measure her liberation by the number of headlines she generates or the frequency of her public speeches, I say this: you are still using the ruler of the very institution she escaped. You are still defining her value by her public output. Meghan's victory is not that she now shouts louder. Her victory is that she now gets to choose. The sound of freedom isn't always a roar. Very often it is a quiet, deep, nourishing breath. It is the profound peace of a private moment that isn't leaked to the press. Geography isn't just place, it's possibility. Moving from the UK to California was more than a change of scenery for Meghan and Harry. It was a shift in reality. They left behind royal restrictions for the open space of a new home. This wasn't escape, but intentional relocation for privacy and sanctuary. In Montecito, they found the freedom to live simply and raise their children away from crushing expectations. For Meghan, it's liberation after years of scrutiny. This quiet life isn't retreat, It's a foundation for meaningful engagement. Returning to California was a homecoming, a chance to be whole and reconnect with her roots. The contrast is stark, from restriction and scrutiny to freedom and choice. In the California sun, Meghan is healing, growing and redefining happiness on her own terms. Archewell isn't just a foundation, it's the architecture of a new life. Meghan and Harry moved from ceremonial duties to hands-on, impact-driven projects. Archewell reflects their values: compassion, community, service. Meghan's advocacy for women and girls continues, now with deeper focus. Their work is about real solutions, not photo ops. Every project is chosen with intention, aligning public work with private values. This focused approach contrasts with their former scattered royal roles. Through Archewell, Meghan redefines public influence. No title needed, just vision and commitment. She's building a legacy based on effort and service, not birthright. Archewell proves that quiet, purposeful work can have the loudest impact. Meghan Markle's story is about the power of personal choice. She was given a script and chose to write her own. This is a quiet revolution, the radical act of saying no to what harms you. Each no was an assertion of self-worth, a declaration that her family mattered more than any institution. Meghan's journey counters the narrative that women should be grateful and silent. She walked away from privilege in search of freedom. The choice was costly, but she held firm. Now she protects her children's privacy, engages on her terms, and focuses on causes that matter. Each choice is a brick in her new life's foundation. Meghan's story is one of resilience, transforming pain into purpose. Her quiet life is a beginning, not an end. The most powerful choice is to be true to yourself. Meghan Markle's silence has become her loudest statement. It speaks of boundaries, self-respect and peace. The world expected drama. She gave them quiet dignity. This is not surrender, it's victory. Meghan's journey shows true power comes from within, not from titles. By choosing quiet, she took back control of her story. Her silence is not absence, but ultimate control. Many may never understand her choices, but Meghan is no longer living for them. She's building a legacy defined by compassion and purpose. Her story will be remembered for the quiet strength of her new beginning. Her voice was never gone. It was simply waiting for the right to speak on its own terms. And now, whether it rings out in a powerful speech to the United Nations or in a whisper to her children at bedtime, it is entirely, gloriously and unapologetically her own. And that is not just enough. That is everything.